Welcome to the Krista Escamilla Show.
Welcome to today's episode of the Krista Escamilla Show. We're so thankful you're sharing your time with us today and hope this holiday season is treating you well. We are excited about today's guest. A friend of ours, Talor Nunez, is sitting with us today. And Talor, I just have to say what an honor it is to have you share your story with us. And so thank you for being here.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Talor is, a lot of you, if you're from West Texas, may know Talor as a football player, right? Probably get that a lot, Talor. But Talor is also an engineer with Diamondback. He just recently followed his passion of public speaking and launched a new website and started his public speaking as a life trainer. And so he has just launched Talor Nunez Life Trainer. So I'm so excited to hear your entire story and really get to learn a little bit more about you, because I've known you in the community for many years and through church, because we sat in the same church for so many years, but I really don't know your full story. So thanks again for being here and sharing with us.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Let's start at the beginning, Talor, wherever you want to start.
Well, first thing, I was a football player. I played at Lee High School. It's now Legacy. And I got an opportunity to go walk on at Texas Tech, play football there. And I owe Coach Kingsbury everything, because not only did he give me an opportunity, but also I was able to earn a scholarship after my second year, gained a bunch of weight because I was a quarterback here in Midland. And I went there, walked on as a safety, realized there's no way I was going to beat out guys like Jakeem Grant, guys that are still playing in the NFL super fast. And so I was like, I need to get on the field somehow. They put me on the weight gain program. I had to gain a pound a week every week and keep it over the weekend, or I would get punished.
Wait, so did you get to eat all the pizza you wanted for a month and just enjoy that?
It's funny you say pizza. After practice, it was required to eat whatever they gave us for our first dinner. And sometimes it was just a full pizza, and they would sit there and watch you eat it, and you couldn't leave till you were done. So if you didn't eat it, you were late to your tutoring after practice, and then you got punished the next day too. So it was constantly eating every 2.5 hours.
Sounds like a dream to me.
Initially it does, until your body, you're like, oh, I'm always full. And I would lose 2 pounds over the weekend if I didn't eat. And so if I slept in on a Saturday where we didn't have, during off season, didn't have games or anything, I would have to go eat a buffet to make up for the first 2 meals of the day.
Oh, wow.
And catch up to lunch, and then go eat a larger lunch, and then go into first dinner and second dinner.
So you gained the weight. Obviously, you did what it took to get to where he wanted you to be.
Yeah, so they moved me to outside linebacker. I was about 240, 250 at that point. I left high school at 198 pounds.
Wow.
And then I played at about 275 to 280 for the rest of my career and moved to defensive line.
What was that like, making the switch? Because I think that is such a great just testament to you being able to transition, first of all, because, you get a mindset, right? I'm a quarterback. And then to go, you know what? I can do this. What was that transition like for you?
I had to be humbled, honestly, when I realized that I wasn't as good as I was in high school and that I had just an opportunity to play. My goal was to help the team out any way I could, didn't matter what that looked like for me. And when they told me just go gain weight, meet with the dietitian, and do what we tell you to do, I was like, all right, I can do that. And so I was like, I have to get on the field. I have to earn a scholarship. That was my big goal. And my dad at the time, it was going into my second year, he had told me that he was going to have to sell a car at the house just to make my next, basically to let me stay in school for that semester. Mm-hmm. And then that following, basically that week, I got put on scholarship. So I was so stressed out because I have my 3 younger brothers at home. Right. I don't want my family to be, in a financial bind because of me.
Right.
But my dad, he gambled on me. He took that bet that I would go earn one, and I did. And it paid for my undergrad and for my master's.
What a story. And see, that's how humble you are. You said you're not good enough. You are good enough to play that level. You went and did that and walked on. And that's so hard to walk on and then gain that scholarship. But really, that's a true testament to your work ethic in that ability to transition. Where did you get that work ethic from?
It's completely from my dad. And so my whole life, he's always made us, me and all my brothers, he really pushed us when it came to, you got to train for adversity. Bad things are going to happen. You got to be ready for it. When we got punished, not only did we get spanked, but we also got sent to go dig holes. My dad would just say, run. He'd tell us, go run to the stop sign and back till I get tired of seeing you run. Mm-hmm. And so that was just ingrained in us. You work hard. That's what you do. Yeah. His dad, my grandpa, he came across the border 3 times and was taken back and, beaten for it. And he never spoke English because he didn't want to talk like the people that made him go back every time.
Wow.
And so for him, his whole life, he worked hard labor. And so my dad and his siblings, most of them went to college and got educated because they saw what their dad went through. And so for him, it was like, okay, you don't want to do that. You need to go get educated. You need to work hard, and you go make a life for yourself. So that was always ingrained for me pretty much my whole life.
Like that generational pass on, that you're going to work hard for what you want. And it seems like, your dad definitely got that from your grandpa. And what a testament also, again, to the never give up. I mean, 3 times went back, just kept, he wanted better for you. And he really taught that to all of y'all. What a beautiful story and a way to pass on to each generation. Let's talk a little bit about your dad, because I know he's such an important figure in your life, and I don't know all the details, but I do remember when he passed, and so I know that was a huge loss for you and your family. And I saw you step up into the role for your little brothers, because you have 3 younger brothers.
Right.
Yeah. So, and how long has it been since he passed?
It was 2017.
Okay.
It's been a while, but I can kind of backtrack. All my brothers have been super successful.
Yes.
I have Caleb, who went to the Air Force Academy, finished. He played football there, graduated. He works for the Air Force now in Alabama. I got Isaiah, who he went to the Air Force also, decided to transfer after Caleb left because all his friends were Caleb's friends when they graduated. Well, he transfers to go to WT, and that's where Elijah, the baby, he went to go play football. So both of them went to go play football there.
Oh, wow.
Both of them are now at the point where they're kind of finished with football, going to school and doing their thing, and I'm just super proud of them as a whole. But at the time that Caleb was in the Air Force Academy, which was when my dad got sick, that was my senior year of college. So this is like already earned scholarship. Things are going well.
Right.
Me and Kaylee just got married that year in May.
Yes, congratulations, and your beautiful family that you have now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I got the 4-year-old, got Leighton, and then got another one on the way in February.
Yay.
So super excited about that. But I just remember everything was going well. Everything's going great. Just got married, just graduated with my undergraduate degree. And then my dad, he was just kind of acting weird. And he told me, like, hey, I'm kind of sick. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, well, we'll go to the doctor, Dad, take care of business.
Right.
And this was right after I just finished graduation in the summer, going into fall camp for my senior year. The year before, I had just started a bunch of games. Like, things are going awesome.
Right.
And then I remember Coach Kingsbury just pulling me off the practice field, telling me, your wife's here and your dad's in the hospital, you got to go. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't think anything of it. And it turns out he had pancreatic cancer.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And so my dad went through emergency surgeries. I think it was maybe about 3.5 weeks that he made it through multiple surgeries. He got into an induced coma at the end of his life. And I remember calling my brother and telling him, like, you have to tell all your sergeants and everybody you have to leave now. You have to see Dad. The doctor said he's the sickest man in Lubbock. And so that was a really hard time to watch my brothers tell Dad goodbye. We knew that was it. And so I remember when he passed away that Caleb physically came to me. I wanted to just, I was full of emotion when he passed away. And all I wanted to do was just, run away. And Caleb walked up to me and he said, I know you're full of emotions and you feel all types of ways. He said, but right now we cannot feel that way. We have to choose to take care of Mom and take care of our brothers. And I felt like he just kind of snapped me back into reality, snapped me back to what we've been trained since the beginning, since my dad raised us. And so ever since then, I was like, okay, I'll take care of him. I'll do whatever we need to do. You go back to school, you take care of business. And, it's been really good since then. I know that year was, it seemed like the storms hit at the same time, because the month after my dad passed away, me and Kaylee, we lost our first child. And that baby was 10 weeks old. We had told my dad when he was alive that he was about to be a grandparent for the first time. So after he passed away, we were like, okay, it's all about the grandchild. And then we lose the baby. And then a month later, my best friend's dad passed away in a head-on collision right outside of Tahoka. A month after that, my grandpa, my dad's dad, who we just talked about, he passed away too.
So it was like the storm hit all at once.
Everything.
And I know your faith is so strong. What got you through that time?
It was truly based on, everything. This whole life training thing comes from that point. It's like bad things are going to happen, and are you going to be ready for it? And so I became a believer through an FCA camp when I was in high school. 2, I had many great godly men that have trained me, that have discipled me, that taught me how to study the Word, read the Word. So that kept me grounded. Didn't make the emotional ride any easier.
Right.
But it kept me grounded in knowing that I know where my home is. My home is in heaven. And I believe that I'll see my dad again. I'll see my grandpa again. I'll see that baby I never got to meet.
Yes.
And so all of that is what kept me forward, is keeping that eternal perspective. And I'm so thankful for that. So my goal with this life training situation is I want to share with everybody that what are you doing today? Like, what does your training look like today to deal with the future shortcomings, future sufferings, future adversities that are coming?
Because they're coming.
They are coming.
They are coming.
Yeah. And so what do you look like today? Like, are you building yourself and preparing for that?
Yeah. And that is your why. Your story is your why for doing this. And I love that you're able to now share your experience and share your story and help others prepare for those life events. I love that. I want to circle back a little bit to FCA. You mentioned, and I believe it's Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Of Christian Athletes, yes, ma'am.
What an incredible program, because I think, because I know our son benefited from them as well. They're just in a great organization. But the way that they help athletes, young athletes, just kind of change their perspective about what they do, right, and why they're doing it.
Exactly.
Can you shed a little bit of light on that, please?
Yeah, so the whole mission of FCA is to basically use the influence of coaches and athletes to be able to transform the world through Jesus Christ. So all you do is you're just reading the Bible with athletes, you're teaching and supporting them, and you're empowering them to be leaders wherever they go.
I love that.
And so we do that from the ground up. We do it with camps with kids in the summer. We do it with meeting with them. We call them huddle meetings. It's just group meetings where we get together and we teach them what the gospel is. We teach them the Bible. They sit and read it together. We've gotten to a point, just at Legacy High School now, where I have the kids leading their own Bible study. I train them up. They know how to do it, and now they just lead and they go.
That's awesome.
And so that's my goal is, when I was at, the reason that I even went to FCA, a guy named we call him Mr. Marks, and we know that Mama Marks, she passed away this past year. But he took me to a camp. He took the sacrifice of taking me to a camp, and I got saved there, and it changed my whole life.
Yeah.
And that's one person, but I've been able to reach out to so many people
because of that
because
one
of
person.
him. Yeah. If I can do that to one person, there's no telling where that ripple effect is, where that reach goes out to, where it changes someone else's life that I will never know about. But I know that I will do my part to try to be like Mr. Marks.
I love that. I think that is so really speaks to what your heart is about and how you want to help others. And I really believe that one person can change so many lives, just like he did. Now, just think about the branch of trees that he's going to reach from you. I also want to circle back. We mentioned FCA and mentorship, and I want to talk more. I have so much I want to talk about.
Yeah, we're good.
Mentorship is so important. But I want to talk about, of course, your mom is amazing. I love your mom. She is such a sweet and kind person, and your dad's the influence that they had on you growing up. What is the one thing that you remember the most that your parents taught you growing up that really you still to this day, and now as a parent, that you keep replaying in your head and that you live by?
Oh man, there's a lot, but I would say my mom was like our spiritual leader in the family. It wasn't until my dad was, he didn't even live to be 50. He was 49. So I think he was about 45 when he finally understood the gospel and truly accepted the Lord as his Savior. So my mom was our light, and she would always tell us, you care about other people, you love other people. And with my dad, it was, you're always respectful, and you will tell them yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, no matter what. That's what I trained Leighton on. Like, if you don't tell people yes sir, yes ma'am, no sir, no ma'am, like we're gonna have a problem. So
And she's doing good. I met her. She is such a cute, adorable ball of fire, and smart and witty and very, very well mannered. So y'all are doing a great job.
well, I appreciate that.
She's adorable. Well, I think those are great things to teach your kids. And now that you're a parent, and you're passing that on, to your children, is there a best parenting advice that you would like to give someone that maybe is, maybe they're pregnant with their first one, now that you're a pro 4 years in, right?
Not even close.
I know. I'm 22. Let's see, how old is our oldest is 22 right now. Yeah, 22
Yes.
years, and I still don't feel like a pro. So I get that. But what is that best piece of parenting advice you would share?
I'd say just love on them and love what they love. Yeah. Just get whatever it is that you start to see that they enjoy, like really jump into that with them. So
I love that. That is good piece of advice. Okay, we have so much to talk about, but we have to take a quick break for quote of the day. I love quotes, Taylor.
Yeah.
So let's see which quote you pull out.
Get from the middle.
Okay. What?
Oh, from you.
Oh, it's one of my quotes. I have one quote I throw in there.
Oh, this is the only one?
Yeah,
What
I
are the
think
odds?
that's it.
You can tackle the day, or the day can tackle you.
And how
Go tackle
appropriate.
the day.
How appropriate for a football player to get the tackle the day quote. I tell my kids that all the time. Like, you go tackle the day.
love it.
Don't let the day tackle you.
Now, they've probably heard it a million times. Do they look at you with that same fire they heard it the first time?
Nope, not at all. They just look at me like, oh gosh, here's mom with another one of her quotes. What does that quote mean to you? Oh, and you got the smile card, which I love because you're
love
always
it.
smiling.
So, for me, yeah, go tackle the day. Go earn. Basically, earn your rest. Like when
I like
you
that.
get at the end, you get to the end of the day, like earn your rest. And I love that. Like you either let things happen to you and be reactional, or you totally be prepared and you go after everything. Be on the front side of it. So
I love it.
that goes right in line. I mean, I love talking about, when I talk about training, Navy SEALs, they talk about that you don't rise to the occasion in adversity, but you fall to the level of your training. And so it's the same thing. Like you if you're prepared and you're getting ready for the day, you're tackling the day, like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be this reactional person all the time.
Right. You can just be ready. And, as my husband Al always says, you can either respond or react. And it's
Exactly.
better to respond than to react, because your reaction is not going to be as good as your response.
It's going to be emotional. Yeah, it's going to be the wrong one.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about your favorite quote. What is the quote that you live by that you think is, kind of your mantra?
I would say the one we just shared,
Okay,
Navy
good.
SEAL one. Yeah.
Awesome.
In adversity, you don't rise to the occasion, but you fall to the level of your training.
Love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And my dad used to tell us as well, you adapt, you improvise, you overcome. It comes from the military too.
Yes, I've heard. Yes, I love
And
it.
it comes, they say it in different orders, but if you can live by that, like, it's okay for things to change. Like,
Yeah.
you be ready, and your training involves being ready and being ready to adapt when those things happen. You've already thought of those things.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your life training, because I'm so excited for you. You're entering a stage in your life where you've been doing this for a long time. I don't want to make it sound like you're just like, oh, I just now decided to be a public speaker.
Yeah,
You've been
yeah.
doing this for a really long time. A lot of young athletes and followers of Christ have looked up to you for years here in West Texas, but now you're taking that platform and expanding it. What does that look like for you, and how will people be able to get involved?
So first of all, I just posted the website, starting to file paperwork for an LLC. So just trying to be more formal.
Right.
But as a whole, people can support me by, one, just praying that I have the wisdom to be able to follow whatever it is that God has already planned for me. I already know that. All I got to do is just take the steps towards it. And so this is me taking those steps towards it. I know that God's called me to a platform that needs to be expanded. He's given me a reason and a purpose. And I need to share that with not just West Texas, but anyone and everyone that would listen. And, that doesn't involve just churches. Like, I think that people have kind of put, like, oh, church is over here and this is over here. Like, no. Everyone needs to hear the fact that they need to be ready for adversity, because bad things will happen, and we need to be prepared for it. And so they're going to, my goal is basically to get as much content out there, as much sharing with people of what that looks like. What does your training look like on a day-to-day basis? And so not only will I be doing public speaking, I've done some online training, because obviously I trained for football.
Right.
And I've been training my father-in-law for a while. He's over 50 years old, could never do a pull-up 5 years ago. Can do pull-ups, chin-ups. He's doing like power cleans and everything. So I've kind of taken...
Shout out Ray. Good job,
yeah,
Ray.
Shout out to Ray. I've basically taken what we already did in football and just like, okay, what does it mean to train other people that are not normally athletes?
Right, because not everyone's an athlete, you know, or you're a former athlete, you know, and you maybe, you know, you're still remembering your glory days, right? And
Yeah.
I was a gymnast, and so I loved to work out when I was young, but you know, working out looks different, you know, at this age, and so you're going to help people like us too.
Yeah, and so you know, that's just another thing, another avenue that I have. I have an app where I'm able to personalize and customize these workouts with people.
I love it.
That's super awesome. And then I have a nutritionist that's involved as well, that's helping out.
Great.
So I mean, you're getting the best of both worlds. And if anyone, you know, wants to be able to like, hey, like I really just need a plan. I don't want to think about it. I just want to go. Yeah, that's super easy and simple, and I don't have to physically be there, but I can check in on everything you're doing. We have it all documented, and we can look back. A year ago, you were doing these weights, and you were doing these reps and this time, and so that's pretty cool too.
Is it done through an app or a website?
I have an app set up, yeah.
Fantastic.
It's all set up, super easy to use. So
and you're really feeding the mind, the body, and the soul.
it's pretty much, yeah, I'm trying to train everything because there is no segregation. Like I said, there's no segregation of your spiritual life, your physical life. If you are training really, really well in work, but you're not physically training and you're not spiritually training, in my opinion, you're just being fake in one area, and your real person is what's showing in your normal, casual self. So you have to train all areas of your life, and that's what I want to attack, is try to implement training in everything that you're doing. How are you training mentally? How are you training spiritually? How are you training physically? Because it all goes together. There's no like, I'm going to do one and not the other.
Right, because it really does take that balance of all to reach your goals or whatever your goals may be. Let's kind of speak to someone right now that maybe is not reaching those three things, right? Maybe is like a little off balance, is maybe just focusing on one. What would you say to them to encourage them to either get on your program and join the life training with you, or to really just get started on hitting all those three instead of just focusing on one?
Yeah, I think the big thing is they're like, oh, I just need to build a new habit. But building habits are hard. So you either stack it on a habit that you already have, or you just start small and you build and you become that person every day, even though it may not seem like a lot. So I'll give an example. If somebody wants to start reading books and they've never, you know, they just don't do that, period.
Right.
Well, they brush their teeth every day. They do something every day. We're like, okay, right after I brush my teeth, I'm going to habit stack. I'm going to read my book. And so that's one way of building that habit. The other way, and it can also be included with that, is start small.
Okay.
After I brush my teeth on the first day, I'm going to go pick up the book that I want to read, and that's it.
Okay.
Then the next day, after I brush my teeth, I'm going to pick up that book and I'm going to open it, and I don't read it at all. And then that third day, pick it up, open it, maybe read a couple sentences, maybe a chapter, who knows. But if you do that for 4 or 5 days and it builds on itself, for a whole week you became somebody that reads a book. Yeah, you have become that person because you have constantly, like, that's what you do.
I love that.
I pick up the book and I do it. So
habit stack,
and then also just start small. Like, a lot of people work out as hard. Go put on your workout shoes today, but don't go anywhere, and then take them off. Tomorrow, go put on the workout shoes, go get in the car and drive to the location and don't get in. Okay. Don't even go work out.
Just get started.
Because everyone tries to just full on cannonball. They get sore the first week and they're like, no, I'm done. Yes. But like, they are ready to go when they start that first week. And it's like, just start small. This is not, I'm going to get fit for the summer in 3 weeks. It's like, no, I'm building a lifestyle of good habits.
That is such a great concept. I absolutely love that. And I have to ask you, how do you get rid of the habit of eating French fries? If you can do that for me, if you can teach me how to not go for a French fry, I'm getting better, but it's still a habit I got to get rid of.
Love the French fries.
Oh, especially those Chick-fil-A fries or the McDonald's fries, and they just smell so good when your kids are eating them. Yeah. And I'm sure you find this now with little ones. I mean, it's easy to get that Happy Meal, right? And just reach in the bag and grab a few. So if you can, we'll work on that after the podcast. You just tell me how to get rid of that habit. But I love habit stack. I think that is a term I've never heard before, and I think is so key into really creating the lifestyle that you want. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, time for the question of the day.
Question of the day. Is there another smile card?
Probably.
Oh, happy card.
Oh, you got the happy card, similar to Smile. Okay.
Is that a movie?
If they made a movie, yes, my
Okay.
handwriting is horrible.
I'm sorry.
Horrible.
If they made a movie about your life, what would you choose to play?
Oh, who would
would I choose to play
you
me?
Oh, I like that question for you. Okay, there's going to be a movie about your life, and you get to pick any star out there.
Any star.
Who's it going to be?
I would have to choose The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
That would be cool.
Well,
I think
he
we
was
need to pitch
he
this
was
idea.
a college football player.
Right.
He's super successful. We're also about the same weight. You know, he could add some hair.
You might have to wear a wig for this one. Yeah. But
I think that one would work really well.
I love
He
that.
would definitely make me look way better than I really am.
But see, that's the idea of this. This card is like, okay, if you really pictured yourself on the big screen, and it's funny because I've heard some people say, "Well, I'll just play it myself." You know, I'm like, that's a good one too. But I love The Rock because I would pick Carrie Underwood because I
There
love
you
Carrie
go.
Underwood. But I mean, it's fun to see who you would pick to play you, and that would be a good movie. I think you should pitch it to Hollywood.
Yeah, we'll see.
I
don't have that
He picked
platform yet.
The Rock to play him in a movie. I know, isn't that great? Since Al just walked in, Al, do you have any questions for Taylor? I know that you guys have been friends and for years now, and
I do. I think, it'd be interesting for you to, I know you shared a little bit about your football journey and how you went from one position to another. And, a lot of kids, that's all they know. And so what is it, the transition from, sixth grade football to high school football to college football to, are you good enough to go to the next level?
or do you want to go to the
Exactly.
next level?
Yeah.
And then-
So if you didn't hear, Al was saying, just to relay for our listeners, he wants to, get Taylor's perspective of the transitions. There's a big transition, sixth grade to junior high to high school to college, and then pro.
But
Right.
especially the transition between high school football and then the dedication and time management of college football.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Time
absolutely.
management. That's
Yeah.
for everything. But yes, let's talk about
You
it.
got sixth grade football. It's just for fun.
Yeah.
Just listen to your coach. And your position doesn't matter. Like if you're worried about if you're worried about what position your kid is in sixth grade and junior high, it's not a big deal. Promise, it's okay. I switched at the last
Say it again
second.
for the people in the back so they can hear you.
Also, they're not going to earn a scholarship when they're in sixth grade. The habits that we're talking about, them learning how to be respectful, do what the coaches tell them to do. So be coachable, show up and be on time. All the little things, the intangibles, teach them that when they're younger.
Yes.
Because that's what matters. Oh, the worst thing that I see, especially in football for young kids, is that they get burnt out because everyone thinks the kid's just going to earn a scholarship in 6th, 7th, 8th, shoot, even in high school.
Right.
Like, yes, you earn the scholarship in high school, but what the coaches are looking for are kids that are coachable, that are respectful, that take care of business in school. It's not just football. I see that all the time. Oh,
Or
I got
any
I have an
sport, any
amazing
sport, yeah.
athlete, and they have a 2.0 GPA. Like, be a good person all around. Train in every area of your life. That will get you far. And then the coach will vouch for you once you get to high school and you start playing well and that kid's good enough. Okay, well, let's see, what level you should play at and what coaches they know. Like, the coaching world, the sports world is so small. Everybody knows everybody.
True.
So if you are good to coaches and you take care of them by doing the right things all the time, and everything you do, just being disciplined means doing the right thing, doing it when you're supposed to do it, and doing it that way every time. If you can teach kids to do that, then that will translate into college.
I love it. That is so key. And I think, and Al, you always, he would say this whenever our son would get nervous before a game, like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, he'd always go, "They're not handing out scholarships today. What are you worried about?" What do you do?
Yeah.
It's like, there's nothing to be nervous about. Just go out and do your thing.
Exactly.
But I think these kids, and I'm sure it's talk amongst friends too, because it's not just parents, because I don't think every parent's like, you got to go earn a scholarship, right? But they're within friends, like there's that hype up, right? Like, I'm going to go D1. I'm going to go
I think
D1.
that's another question is that, not everybody's meant to go D1.
That's right. There are some amazing D2, D3 programs, and I think you have to find the program that's right for you.
Yes. So another just small piece of advice.
Yes.
It's very, very political when you get higher than high school. It's still political in high school, don't get me wrong. But once you get into college, it is a business. You have grown men that get paid a lot of money to coach 18-year-olds,
Yes.
19-year-olds. And so you need to go where the coach wants you to be.
Yes.
Because I went through, I love tech, but like I went through 4 different defensive coaches, 3 different defensive coordinators.
Wow.
You want to talk about they only want to play their kids that they brought in. By all means, that makes sense. Like their job's on the line. They're going to recruit who they think would be the best. They may not be the best.
Right.
They may not have the experience, but they're going to play the people that they want to play. And so if you have a coach that says, I want you to play, it doesn't matter what level, go
Yeah.
do it, because they will make sure that you're out there on the field, on the court, whatever sport you're playing, period.
Yeah.
That is so helpful for you. And if the coaching change happens, be wise in your decision. Don't just jump into the portal, because we've seen how that looks too.
Right.
You got tons of kids not getting picked up because, I'll just go to the portal and get picked up somewhere else.
Yeah, how
Now
do you
you
feel
have-
about the portal? Let's talk a little bit about it, because I feel like that has been talked about more since 2020 than any other, and it may just because it's on my radar now, but
Yeah.
I feel like we hear about the portal a little bit more now.
There's positives and negatives. There's good leverage for both the players, but it also gives a lot of good leverage for coaches too. I'll give
Right.
an example. Our APR rating in college gives us a better bowl game, and that's based off of grades, retention of players, and some other factors, a lot of other factors. But if you try to make a bunch of kids quit in college before the portal, your APR would drop. And so instead, you had to figure out how to use the guys that were turds that didn't want to be there. Nowadays, coaches can leverage it so much so to the extreme of, all of you are not playing next year, you better go in the transfer portal. I'm filling this whole team with new people.
Wow.
I mean, that's like a far extreme, but that gives
Right.
coaches good leverage. But the players initially thought it was a leverage of, I'm just going to go to the portal if you don't play me.
Right.
And you have to figure it out. So it kind of
being
is
used
it's a
both
positive and
ways,
negative both
yeah.
ways. It's totally become a professional business, just like any other business. How do we retain employees?
Right.
It's become that point. And it's in that scenario. It used to be you weren't worried about losing players because they couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
I could block them from leaving,
Right.
or maybe they get one transfer time, but they could have to sit out for a whole year.
Do you think it's at the disadvantage of upcoming freshmen that are trying to be?
That has
Recruited
it has been a disadvantage. What has happened now is you have guys that had like 10, 20 offers. They used to be able to just sit on them and wait till the very end and choose. Logistically now, coaches are like, I got a guy in the transfer portal. He played at Oklahoma or Texas or Alabama or whatever, and he was a third string, but he's definitely a starter here. They're going to take that guy first if he says yes before the freshman that's getting recruited that doesn't have the experience or the size.
Wow.
So if you're
Yeah.
getting an offer right now in high school, you used to be able to sit on them. Now you
take
can't
it.
do it. Like if a coach wants you, you need to start figuring it out really quick if you're going to
Yeah.
go there or not.
Good advice. Let's answer that question. Al was talking about time management. Time management is really key for kids as they move into that college role. We saw it with our own kids, just the busyness. You got workouts at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and then you've got class at 8, and then
Yes.
you have a packed schedule all day long. What is your best advice to someone who is maybe they've got kids that are about to go, or they themselves are listening and they're about to make that transition, that you would say is the best piece of advice for someone who's going to be playing competitive in college?
So without getting into the details of the schedule, which Austin on your show did a great example of what a
He
college
did.
athlete looks like. I mean, it is
Yes.
two full-time jobs from when you wake up at 5 or 6 in the morning to when you go to bed at midnight.
Right.
Like it is full. There is nothing else to be added to that schedule.
Yeah.
And so have your kids ready for that. But at the same time, you have to let them be ready for that, because when they go off, right, like you're not calling them and asking them if they showed up to class. Like,
Right.
that's on them.
Did
Like,
you make it to practice today? You don't do that,
yeah, like as a college athlete, you have about 15 places you need to be that whole day, and you cannot miss any of it or
Yeah.
you will fall behind. And then you got perception of your coaches. Like you have to keep a good perception of your coaches. And so that requires doing not just the bare minimum: meetings, film, training, practice. I need to show up
Yes.
on my own film time. I need to show up on my own extra athletic training that involves taking care of my joints and my health and long term. And the
Yes.
coaches, they take advantage of that full heart. Like they go talk to the trainers. Has so-and-so been in the training room? Have they been working on their ankles or whatever. Even if they're not injured, what are they doing extra? Go ask the strength coaches. Hey, do you see this guy other than just your normal morning workouts? Like they're gonna tell them. So you have to understand that perception is reality, and like I said, it's a business. College football, college sports is a business. So don't do it in a way for people to see you. Just be the person that you want other people to see behind closed doors all the time, and then that perception will be seen.
I love it. That's great advice. So good. Okay, we're going to do something I call favorite things. I just like to throw out random questions and see what your favorite things are. Let's start with football. Who's your favorite college football team?
College football team, Texas Tech. It's easy.
You got to go Red Raiders, right?
Yeah.
That's your heart and soul. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about NFL. Favorite NFL team?
I am a diehard Cowboys fan.
Yes.
Heartbroken Cowboys fan. We will eventually get back to the Super Bowl.
Oh, this is our year.
I'm going to be the classic Cowboys fan. Say we're going to go this year. I saw today on ESPN 50% chance to make it.
Hey, that's a good chance.
Pretty good chance.
I could not agree more. I'm right there with you.
I'll take that.
Every time they win a game this year, I'm like, this is our year. We're going to the Super Bowl. So.
I agree, but then we're going to lose to somebody next week or something.
Taylor,
not this next week.
No, Taylor, take that out of your mindset. It's not going to happen.
Those probabilities will drop again.
We're crossing our fingers. We're going to the Super Bowl. Cross everything.
For 27 years.
Same. I was a diehard Cowboys fan living in 49er territory in California. I know. I've been a Cowboys fan
so you're
before
devout.
I moved
you're devout.
here. Yes, yes.
You went through some sufferings.
I did, but we had some celebrations back in the 80s, and so we had some good years, But yeah, we're ready for those good years again.
Yes, they need to come. Then statistically, it will come.
It will.
If we just keep being fans, it's going to come.
That's right. Okay, favorite workout. If you're going to go and you only have a half an hour and you're going to go do something and you're going to work out for half an hour, what is it?
I'm going to hit all the big lifts, so pull-ups, power clean, and then some form of auxiliary lift that's going to help me with my quads, glutes, and my knees. Because I tore both my ACLs, so I take rehab very seriously. I still do that to this day.
That's smart. That's good. That's a good thing. And that helps, obviously, because you can work out now after your surgery.
I actually am stronger now than I ever have been because of the rehab exercises being taken so seriously. So
importance of rehab.
Yes.
I mean, really. Okay, favorite protein shake or protein bar?
Oh, the Fairlife protein.
Okay.
It's very, very tasty. We get them already the little bottles are already ready to go.
Okay, very good. Favorite coffee shop?
Don't drink coffee.
I knew I'm doing something else wrong besides the French fries. I drink too much coffee. All right, 2 habits I need to get rid of now. So you don't drink coffee.
I do not drink coffee.
Good for you. And why? What's you don't like it, or you don't think it's?
I never liked the taste to begin with, and then when I started looking into the fact that I do intermittent fasting, and if I were to drink coffee, it'd have to be black because you can't spike your insulin while you're in your fasting time. So
I'm doing that wrong too, because I do intermittent fasting.
I'm not here to tell you you're doing anything wrong.
No,
I think
I'm telling myself I'm doing it wrong. Just listening to you.
I personally just couldn't do it.
Just listening to you, I'm like, oh man, I'm doing that wrong too, because I thought I was being so good with my intermittent fasting. So if you have sugar in your coffee, it's no longer.
If you spike your insulin during your fast period, then you're not really.
Okay.
In the fasting period anymore.
I need your program, Taylor. Okay, favorite restaurant.
I love Jorge's here.
Oh yeah,
it's Monterey's now.
Okay, yes, yeah. But it was Jorge's for years as we were growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Favorite movie.
Got to go back to the classics. Forrest Gump.
Oh, that's such a good one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I feel like there are so many incredible life lessons if you watch it. And I love quotes, and I love there's like a million quotes in Forrest Gump. I mean,
some are useful and some are just you have to remember those quotes too.
That's a good point. There are some in there where you're like, is that really a good life quote? Oh, maybe. Favorite book.
So Atomic Habits, so we got the habit stacking, but I really love the Extreme Ownership book.
Okay, extreme ownership.
And then obviously you can't go wrong with the book as well.
The Bible. Yes, that is the best book of all. But I love that you mentioned Atomic Habits, because I think we brought it, maybe Austin did, or
I think
we've
he
had
did,
a couple.
yeah.
Yeah, it is such a good book. And if you are trying to create new healthy habits, I mean, whew, what a great one. And I think I probably only read half, really, to be honest. I probably only read half of it because I didn't get that stacking. I love the habit stacking that you said today. I think that is just really so key in starting anything.
Oh, it's been so useful for me, and breaking habits too. It's used the same way. So
okay, I'm going to start that with my breaking of my habits that have obviously been unveiled today. Let's see, another favorite podcast. Do you have any podcasts that you listen to?
Yes, I listen to a lot of them.
Oh, good.
I really do like listening to your podcast.
Thank you.
Hearing people's stories
Thanks.
is awesome.
Yeah, I
so
agree.
that's
I
great.
love it.
I would listen to a bunch of different Christian podcasts.
Okay.
There's one that specifically talks about just the masculinity of Christ followers. We have this cultural view. This is actually really new to me. There's like this cultural view of what a man's supposed to be like, like macho and like really selfish, and that's not what Jesus, the man, was.
Yeah.
Like he was a devout, like he went to God. He knew his authority and the place at which he needed to be in. Like he was all powerful, but yet he was still completely humble. And then probably the most powerful statements that Jesus ever said was that we're going to go to Jerusalem and then I'm going to die. And like for people, we talk about like war quotes and stuff, like somebody's going to go die for you in war. Like, no, he's like going to go die for everyone, everyone's sins. Like, and he was out in front. And then on top of that, Peter tried to step in front of him and say, no, we're not doing that. And he's like, get away from me, Satan. Like he called out things that needed to be called out, and he wasn't worried about people being offended. I mean, so for me, that like the Christian manhood, what it truly means to be a man defined by Jesus, has really kind of transformed. Because I had to sit back and be like, well, that's not what I've always thought what a man is. So like I've had to kind of change the way that I think about that too. Right.
That is such a great point. And I know we're running out of time because I just got the nod. I'm like, I have so many more questions. Really quick, before we move and ask you your favorite nonprofit, because we always close out our show with that. I just want to ask you brought up mentors earlier. You've had so many in your life. Is there one mentor that you would like to thank and you would like to share what they taught you, and maybe it might change someone else's life?
There's so many. I'd say Mr. Ken Marks is one. Corbin Young, who's he works as a male chaplain for FCA at Tech. That's another one. You got right now Dustin Pierce. Everybody knows Dustin here. So just got so many good men around me. David Sparkman lives in Lubbock. I've had plenty of men pour into my life. Jared Blong, he poured into my life right before I left to college. And so there's tremendous. I've told them thank you, but there's not enough thank yous that I could give them for just discipling me, taking me under their wing and showing me this is what it means to work hard, to do this, to read the Bible, do all of these things. So thank you to everybody. And
it's important to find those mentors in your life and then be like you are now, and you're now going to mentor others. Let's talk really quick about how people can find you on Talor Nunez Life Trainer. What's your website?
Yeah, it's tn-lifetrainer.com.
Perfect.
And I also have, my Instagram page. It's just Talor Nunez, really easy to find. Taylor without a Y.
Okay.
So but yeah, you can reach me through the website. It'll send a direct message to me, and we'll get in contact. Anything, if you have questions just in general, just go to the website, message me, direct message me on Instagram. I'd love to just connect with you. If it's anything else, just connect. But if you have any type of public speaking engagement that you would like to have a speaker, I'd love to be there. If it's anything involving training, let's go. Let's get started.
All right. Well, I'm so excited for you and your new role and following your passion. And you're still going to be continuing with your engineering role as well. This is just something that you have felt really strong about for a long time. And I know you're going to make such a difference in other people's lives like you have been, but now on a bigger scale. So I'm very excited for you. Wish you the best of luck and success. So please follow him. He will help elevate your teams to where you want them to be, or your kids, or or yourself, and get rid of those bad habits. that I have too. But he will help you do that. So thank you so much. Okay, in closing, is there anything we didn't get to talk about that you're like, oh man, I really wanted to say?
No, that was great. Thank you for having me on.
You're
It's
welcome.
been awesome.
Thank you. And finally, it's been fun. I've loved to get to hear your story more because, like I said, our family saw your family from afar. You were like the football family. We were the golf family in church, and and you worked with Alex, and
is
he
awesome.
thinks the world of you. And so we just, it's nice to really get to share this time together and hear your story. And I'm just excited for the lives that are going to be impacted by you and your team when you do your life training. So it's going to be great. Finally, what nonprofit would you like us to make our donation to today?
I want that to go out to the Permian Basin FCA.
Fantastic.
Yeah, got a lot of things going, and just so everyone knows, we got the first ever all-star football and volleyball game starting in June next year. So all of that is ran by FCA. The kids are getting chosen right now, and we'll finalize that. And then in January, we'll have a draft day with all of our coaches. So
Great.
A lot of cool stuff coming out. We'll have some more public press releases coming out as well. So they're doing some awesome things.
And how do the kids get picked for that? You said you're choosing
It's
them
already
right now.
It's already went to all the coaches in
It already
Permian
went to the
Basin.
coaches,
They're
they
already
pick. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. They're already working through getting all of those nominations.
How fun. That is going to be exciting. So, of course, we'll hear more about that in June. And
Yes.
Be on the lookout in all your media channels and social media channels to hear more about it.
We'll have everybody come out. We'll be playing the game at UTBB on that Saturday morning, and then that Saturday evening we'll be at Astounding Broadband for the All-Star football game.
Fantastic. Well, Taylor, thank you again for sharing with us today. We appreciate you sharing your story and just making the difference in people's lives. That's what it's all about, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. We always love our listeners. Thank you for sharing this with someone that you love or that you feel like could really benefit from today's podcast, because that's what we're about. We want to hear stories. We want to share stories. We want to inspire others. We want to connect people here in West Texas and beyond, and this is a great platform to do it. So if you know someone that really could hear, benefit from hearing Taylor's story, please share it with them today. We want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Rig ID and joincapclub.com. If you need some caps, go to joincapclub.com. It's a great way to just always have caps coming to you. And finally, Midland Cap Company. We thank our sponsors. If you'd like to be a sponsor, give us a call. That's right, always accepting. And finally, my motto is always remember to dream big, believe, and never give up. You make it a great day.